All right, all right, let's do it. Let's talk about Metroid Prime 4. I just finished the game today, and boy, do I have a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts. Let's get in. First of all, start this off right from the top. This was a phenomenal game. They really knocked it out of the park in so many ways. But then there's the things! Like, what? So, what happened? Well, first of all, the game is gorgeous. I have it on Switch 1. And both my son and I were like, this is a beautiful game. How is this running and looking this good on the Switch? Which was how I felt about Metroid Prime Remastered, which was how I felt about Metroid Prime on the GameCube. Retro is full of wizards. I don't understand. What about the gameplay? Honestly, excellent. For the most part, this game is so well designed and flawless in the execution. The levels are great. The stages are great. The progression is mostly fine. I like the new abilities and weapons, even though most of it is retreaded. I do like how, minor spoilers, skip about 10 seconds. I do like how you get the plasma beam first and the electric beam last, and the electric beam just is kind of souped up, and the plasma beam got a little nerfed, because it was kind of always the other way around, and it's just nice for a change of pace. But I will say, though, it was also... Okay, spoilers are over. It was a little bit frustrating until I finally got the lightning. Like, all of the things that I needed electrical power for, that I had to just keep missing and keep walking past for so long. But I mean, and again, that's part of what makes Metroid fun, is that crazy rush of excitement and dopamine. You're like, I can go get all those things now! And this definitely nails that. What about the story? I don't know, it's fine. It's nice to see Silex actually get to shine a little bit. But I'm going to wait till I talk about the ending before I go into that anymore. The rest of the story is all right. I like Vuros. It's a great planet. The Lemorn are a fine race, but this is very familiar. It's a pretty familiar retread of Chozo, Luminoth, and even that one race that was in Metroid Prime 3. I can't remember what they were called. In fact, this was a very similar story to them in particular. It was fine. I mean, I feel like every one of these stories is like a missed opportunity to dive in deeper into things. This one felt a little closer because they were the problems. They were the ones who, again, spoilers for the next 15 seconds or so. They were the ones who harvested the green energy and thought it was a smart idea to just blast that shit into the atmosphere. Oh no, it made our people go insane? Who could have predicted this? Not the smartest smart people I've ever heard of. I mean, the Chozo couldn't really help what happened with Phazon. Then again, the Chozo also made the Metroids, so... I don't know, I guess we're not going to ever likely encounter one of these civilizations that's been long lost, because they were long lost for some reason. I don't know. I think... I don't really know what I want anymore as a Metroid fan, and that's something else I'm going to have to get into later, but it is feeling a little stale, which is kind of sad, because the whole idea is great, and it's part of what I've loved about the Prime series, and yet this path is too familiar. I don't think they're doing enough with this. But this wasn't bad. Not at all. Last thing I'll mention before I go into some of the negative stuff. The music. Kenji Yamamoto, man. Oh my god. I actually don't know if he was the one who did the music in this one again, but it was very much in his style. Fury Green's theme is the best thing that's happened to Metroid Prime since Phendrana Drifts and Talon 4. Really, truly excellent. Every time I went back to Fury Green, I was just melting in my seat. I was so happy. Not just from the music either. The visuals, the design of these places is just incredible. I don't know. These people have such incredible imaginations. Really beautiful. Some of the best sci-fi art that you'll ever see.
And now we get into the dark stuff.
Okay, so there are two main complaints that most people have with this game. One is the open world part, and the other are the NPCs. I'll start with the open world part. I don't agree with people. I think it's just fine. Do I think it's as good as it could be? No. Do I think it was the right or best choice? I don't know, but it was a fine choice. I enjoyed it. I liked the bike. I liked being able to just run around and just kind of lose myself in the environment and in the fun. I liked hunting for the green crystals. I just enjoyed that. It was just nice. I was annoyed that I couldn't reliably get a whole chunk in one hit, and I would sometimes just miss them entirely, and then I'm like circling around trying to aim. That got a little bit annoying from time to time, but ultimately the entire practice was actually enjoyable. It was like a nice way to kind of unplug and just zone out and just kind of vibe, listen to a podcast or something. I was enjoying it. It really didn't bother me. It's also, you know, I'm getting really fatigued from ginormous games. So I really didn't want that much more in this. I felt like this was a really good length with a good amount of content. I'm satisfied. So then there's the NPCs. Let me start off by saying I actually like the characters. I like their personalities, I like the writing, and I like how they're acted. I think that they are believable, that they are very human, and I really appreciate that. I don't think that they, in and of themselves, are problematic, and I don't think them being around and in a Metroid game and hanging around with Samus is problematic at all. I'm not like other people like that. It's kind of funny how antisocial a lot of Metroid fans are, and it's kind of making me wonder, maybe there's a connection between that and why this series barely sells. Like, maybe they're trying to figure out how to get more people to buy these games, and I don't think we're helping. I really don't. I feel like a lot of people hate people so much that they want to go where there's just nothing from anybody, and I don't know, that just kind of frustrates me. I'm also the kind of person that sees a stranger as... oh, crap. But anyway, my complaint is not that there are characters in there. I was actually one of the people that liked the characters in Metroid Prime 3 and wished that we had had more time with especially the bounty hunters. I liked their personalities. I wanted to see more of that. And I always felt like we were robbed, like we just didn't get enough. I was actually looking forward to this one having more, especially after Other M was such a disappointment. Speaking of Other M, when you compare these characters to the ones in Other M, there's a lot of analog between them, and yet the feeling is very different. In Other M, they feel like a bunch of roles being kind of played by humans, while in this game, these are just people being forced into a role. Like, you know, like the humanity in them really shines, and I really appreciate that. I feel like Metroid could use more of that. Having Samus have more of a connection with people, I think is good. I think there are probably too many gamers that are leaning a little too heavily on this as a crutch for when they struggle socially. Maybe that's just a harsh judgment on my part, but I don't know. However, the problem with these NPCs is that they bug you when you don't want them to. That's the problem. When I'm exploring in a room, I don't want them to go, I don't think that's the right way. Shut up! I would start to feel dread every time I'd come out to the desert and I'd see the icon start to flash and I knew I was about to get bugged. I'd be like, no. And Miles goes, hey, why don't you come back to base camp? Hey, why don't you go check out the volcano? Hey, why don't you shut up? Do you know how long I've been doing this for? I've been destroying planets by myself for almost 40 years. Get bent! I don't need you to tell me where to go! Nintendo and Retro, please, we are begging you. We are begging you. Let us turn that reminder crap off. Turning off tutorials didn't do it. I even heard you could turn off subtitles and game dialogue all the way down to 0. It still wasn't enough for me. Please let us turn that off. Please. And just let us go into the main menu to see what's the current objective. We don't need somebody to pester us. It's not a positive thing. It's really, really annoying. And it's dragging down a mostly otherwise incredible experience. Okay, this video is a bit of a mess, but I have more to say, so stay tuned for part 2.